Karina, baby mama loves you. Do you know that today you are 5 years, 1 month, and 20 days old because today is the 30th? So today's story is The Little Monsters Race. The little monsters, Minnie, Minnie, and Mo, were having a race, but everything is the wrong way. Around the Pango, so they were starting at the finish. The Pango Pig waved his flag. Ready, set, stop! Squeak, the Pango Pig. Pigs on Pangos don't snort, they squeak like mice. Minnie, Minnie, and Mo ran off. Once around a rugged rock and back again. Mo is the winner. Squeak, says Pango Pig. Pango is a very mixed-up place to live. Oh my. So what sound does a pig make? He goes oink, 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 right? And he snorts, right? But on this farm, he goes squeak, squeak, squeak like a mouse. Oh my. Karina, baby, mama loves you so very much. We're going to move on to the children's literature book. Let's see what the story is for today. I like these books a lot. Mama used to have all kinds of books like this for you because I like that they have so many stories in one and the book just keeps going. Okay, today is woods. Woods. Whenever the woods I walk among are very green and very young. The leaves a twinkle on every tree. The heart begins to dance in me, and my feet to caper from tree to tree over the sun-patched greenery. But when the woods I walk among are very old with mosses hung, in the thin foresters of tattered gray, and the green seems high and far away. Oh, then I tiptoe from tree to tree, for a hush is on the heart of me. General store. Someday I'm going to have a store with a Twinkie bell hung over the door, with real glass cases and counters wide, and drawers all sprawly and things inside. There'll be a little of everything, bolts and calico balls of string, jars of peppermint, tins of tea, pots and kettles and cutlery, seeds in pockets, scissors bright, kegs of sugar, brown and white, spatulas for picnic lunches, bananas and rubber boats in bunches. I'll find the window and dust each shelf and take the money in all myself. It will be my store and I will say, what can I do for you today? Alright. Tomorrow is Mother, baby. Let's do it today. Mother. When Mother comes each morning, she wears her oldest things. She doesn't make a rustle. She hasn't any rings. She says, good morning, chickies. It's such a lovely day. Let's go inside the garden and have a game of play. When Mother comes at tea time, her dress goes shoo, shoo, shoo. She always has a little bag, sometimes a sunshade too. She says, I am so hoping there's something left for me. Please hurry up, dear Nana. I'm dying for my tea. When Mother comes at bedtime, her evening dress she wears. She tells us each a story when we have said our prayers. And if there is a party, she looks so shiny bright. It's like a lovely fairy dropped in to say good night. Taxes. Taxes. Ho for taxes, green or blue. Hi for taxis. Oh, taxis. That's a taxes. I don't got something in my eye. Okay. Taxis. Ho for taxis green and blue, hi for taxis red. They roll along the avenue like spots of colored thread. Jack-o'-lantern yellow, orange as the moon, greener than the greenest grass ever grew in June. Grayly striped, or checkers and squares, wheels that twinkle bright. Don't you think that taxis make a very pleasant sight? Taxis shiny in the rain, scrolling through the snow. Taxis flashing back the sun, waiting in a row. Ho for the taxis red and green, hi for the taxis blue. I wouldn't be a private car in sober black, would you? So the private cars are black, and the taxis back then were green, blue, and red. Isn't that neat? Red, green, and blue. Taxis. Alright, so tomorrow will be the fairies. Mama wanted to read you the snow book. The Big Snow. It's a scholastic book, so I was like, oh, it has to be good. The Big Snow. I like the scholastics. Look at the deer in the snow, the big snow. Affectionately dedicated to Nancy H.G. The Big Snow. Honk, 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 the wild geese were flying south. The big harvest moon has come and gone. Red and gold were the leaves of the maples and oaks. And the wind that blew down from the north was cold. The cottontail and the littlest rabbit sat in the warm brown earth of the vegetable garden far below the foot of the hill. The broad waters of the river ebbed slowly to the ocean. They started into the sky at the flock of wild geese. There's the baby. Look, there's the geese. There's the mama bunny and the baby bunny. And there's the water going into shore and out over the horizon. You know what that means, said Mrs. Cottontail. The littlest rabbit shook his head. He couldn't speak because his mouth was full of carrot tops. He didn't know why the geese were flying south. This was the first time he had seen them. That means that the cold winter days are near and you will be needing a warm coat, said Mrs. Cottontail. Eat plenty of cabbage leaves and carrot tops and you will have a thick coat for the winter. The littlest rabbit nibbled among tender carrot tops. Oh, he's doing a good job. He's eating. That's exactly what he needs to be doing. There goes the geese. And they're trying to get their coats to grow thick. Their fur to grow thick. The fat little groundhog who lived in a den just outside the garden fence looked up at the geese flew overhead. He had already put on his warm fur coat. Oh, he said, it's nearly time for my winter nap. When the days grow short and the cold, he went to bed and slept soundly until spring. This saved him the trouble of storing food for the winter. There is the groundhog. Look at him. Isn't he so cute? Look at his little belly. He's so cute. There goes the geese. Papa doesn't like geese. He doesn't like the Canadian geese at all. He had one attack him the one day when he was at work because he used to park next to it. So he had to hit the goose with his lunchbox. He kept warning the staff, though. He kept telling them, this goose isn't good out here. Alright, anyway. Mrs. Chickmunk, with her cheeks pouch full of seeds, stopped for a moment beside the little stone house on the hillside. She had worked hard all summer and had stored plenty of seeds and nuts for the winter in her home, deep beneath the rock pile. Brr, she said, it's getting cold. It's time for me to retire. Oh, look at the cute little chipmunk. Look at his little mouth, is all full. Its little cheeks. Chipmunk cheeks. Oh, the blue jay perched on the topmost bark of the sycamore. looked at the geese flying in the sky high above the river. Well, well, it's later than I thought. He flew to the big pine tree where the cardinals were resting. Aren't you going south? He asked. No, indeed, replied the cardinals. We can find plenty to eat here. We like winter. Well, the cardinals are staying for the winter. They stay all winter long in the cold. Blue jay's gonna fly south, though. Some sparrows chirped happily on the hillside. They paid no attention to the geese in the sky, for they did not mind the cold weather. They knew that the meadow grasses were heavy and with seeds, and so they were in the branches and the ash trees. Oh, so the sparrows stay for the winter too, huh? A bluebird sat on the roof of his house built of cedar. He looked for the fat robin on the lawn below. It's high time to go south, he called. Not for me, said the robin. He tugged and pulled a fine fat worm out of the ground. I'm staying here this winter. Oh. Trying to find a friend to go south with him, huh? High on the hill, a brown wood rat stopped to look at the geese. Hey, hey, he squeaked. There they go. He knew cold weather was coming, and he had carried seeds and nuts to his nest under a big rock. The ring-necked pheasants roaming through the woodland only stared at him. They never thought of leaving their home for the south. There was plenty of food for them on the hill, and they didn't mind the cold. There they are. Caw, 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 croaked the black crow in the cornfield as the geese flew by. They knew where to find food during the long winter months, and they never went south. Crows aren't going to go south even though they see the geese moving. Every day during the harvest season, the red squirrels and the gray squirrels had been busy storing nuts and acorns and seeds under the leaves and logs, where they hoped to find them during the lean winter months. Their fur coats were thick and warm. They were ready for the winter. Squirrels are getting all ready. The pretty white-footed wood mouse flicked his long tail as he looked at the geese flying high in the sky. He knew the winter was coming, but he had worked hard and had a good supply of seed stored away in his underground nest. He wouldn't be hungry in the months to come. The short-tailed meadow mouse didn't bother to look at the geese. Winter had no terrors for him. The tunnels made by the moles led to sweet plant roots and to the tulip bulbs in the garden. He would have plenty to eat. So the mice are happy. They're fine. Oh, what we got here? We got the deer. Shy white-tailed deer browsed in the woods that covered the ridge at the top of the hill. Their coats were already thick and warm. Some of the deer saw those geese flying, but they never thought of leaving their woodland home, where there was food for all, growing so plentiful. They see the geese flying, they see the autumn coming, they see it's going to get cold, but they're okay with it. And there were hill dwellers who came out to hunt for food at night. The skunk family who lived under the wood pile didn't care which way the geese were flying. They were happy and content on the hillside. There was plenty of food to be found, and only the followed one's nose, and they could have slept through the coldest winter months in their bed of leaves and soft grasses. There's The skunks. The raccoons followed the path through the woods. They too knew that winter was coming. When the deep snow covered the land, they would climb into their soft beds in the hollow trunk of the cold willow to sleep until the cold days passed. So the skunks and the raccoons are staying for the winter. The days grew shorter and shorter, then the first snow fell down from the north. When the round winter moon bathed the hillside in silvery light, the mice and the rabbits came out and danced and frolicked. The skunks and the raccoons and the deers left well-marked trails in the early winter snow. Then the night after Christmas, there was a rainbow around the moon. The wise owl knew that meant a rainbow around the moon meant more snow, much more. Ooh! The sad trailing call of the screech owl was heard up and down and across the hillside. So when you look outside and you see that there's a rainbow around the moon, it has the reflection on it because there's water in our atmosphere. So when we look through our atmosphere at the moon, it makes the rainbow. It's a prism, right? We've learned about prisms. So that means that we're getting more snow. The owls were right. Soft gray clouds quickly filled the sky and bloated out the moon. The beautiful snowflake fell down through the air. Then 2 flakes floated softly to the earth, followed by 3, then 4. The snowflakes fell faster and faster and faster. Millions of snowflakes fell from the sky. It snowed, and that night and all the next day, the thick snow covered the branches of all the trees. Look at the beautiful snowflakes, baby. Every last snowflake is different. There's not one that's the same. That's what they say. A blanket of snow covered the meadows, the hills, and the valleys. The snow was heavy on the roofs of the houses and barns. Look at how much snow. Look how beautiful the snow is. The snow stopped falling on the evening of the second day. Once again, the big silver moon rose up in the sky. The owls winged noisily from the sycamore to the pine woods. Nothing else stirred in the silent snow-covered land. Then the skunk family dug their way up from their dens, buried so deep under the snow. They sniffed and sniffed, but all their sharp nose smelled was snow. They crawled back to sleep in their soft den. The raccoons scraped the snow away from the entrance of their home in the willow. They started to wonder at the snow. Then they hurried back to sleep until spring in their soft, warm bed. Like it, they came out just to see the snow and stare at it for a second. Looking at the snow. The skunk came out, the raccoons came out, the owl's out. See the owl in the background? There's the owl. Woo, woo, goes the owl. As drawn, the jays shook their feathers and left the shelter of the big spruce. The sparrows and the chickadees, the cardinals and the lonely robin scrambled out from their shelters and flew from tree to tree, trying to find a place to perch on a heavy snow-laden branches. They looked in vain for the seed grasses in the meadow. Ice and snow covered everything, even the seeds of the birch and the ash trees. The jays and the crows took wing to hunt for food. The jays flew north in great circles, and the crows flopped slowly south. So they each had their own way to go. One goes north, and one goes south. So the crows went south, and the jays went north, and they all got along. The deer huddled together in the deep wood. Drifts of snow covered the bushes and the grasses that furnished them with food. The deer were hungry. The cottontails and the little rabbits were hungry too. They came out from their nests underneath to hunt for food. So the deers and the poor little rabbits are still out hunting for food. And they're hungry in the winter. We can leave out salt licks and things for them, but then they keep coming back and they trample all the flowers, so I always go back and forth with that. Snow, snow, nothing but snow, and the birds and the animals of the hill are very hungry. Then the sun rose above the hills, clear and bright. The sharp eyes of the jay saw the little old man in the bright red cap came out of the stone house. He slowly shoveled a path through the deep snow. Look at that man shoveling. Doing a good job. It's just gonna melt. Snow just melts. I don't know why people get so tizzied over it. But if I have to, drive all the way down to pick you up, I'm gonna be pretty upset about the snow next year. Because it gets bad. The snow gets bad around here. He was followed by a little old woman dressed in all green. She scattered seeds and nuts and breadcrumbs to right to left. Oh, she's putting out seeds, nuts, and breadcrumbs for the birds. The cry of the blue jays echoed over the hillside. Food! 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 They cried again and again, and the birds on the hill heard the happy call. Caw! 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 Croaked the crows when they saw the little old woman put pans of food back in the back of the house, and the little old man dragged hay from the shed and scattered corn on the snow. Food! 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 They called, and their cries were heard by the deer in the woodland away at the top of the hill. The squirrels heard them too, and raked through the trees. The squirrels heard them too, and raked through the tree tops. The snow had covered their hidden stores of nuts and acorns, and they were hungry. The skunk family and the raccoons, deep in their long winter sleep, did not hear the crows call. In her warm burrow under the rock pile, the chipmunk opened a sleepy eye. She ate a few peanuts. Then she closed her eyes again to dream of the spring days to come. They're hibernating. That's what they're doing. All the other animals hurried as fast as they could through the snow to the little stone house. The cardinals and the sparrows and the chickadees and the lonely robin flew to the banquet, chirping and singing. The hungry pheasants in the wood heard the glad tingling and joined the happy throng. Oh, let's go back. Do you see this one? Look at how good they are. The groundhog didn't wake up until the second day in February. He pushed up through the snow and looked about. The sun was shining brightly, and there on the snow, the groundhog saw his shadow. Oh, I know what that means, he said. There will be 6 more weeks of winter. And he hurried back in his den to sleep until spring. The groundhog was right. It was a long, cold winter for the birds and the animals on the hill, but the little old man and the little old woman put out food for them until the warm spring came. And then that was the end of the big snow. I hope you enjoyed the book, baby. Honk, honk, honk. The wild geese fly south when the cold winter begins to blow from the north. The red squirrels stores nuts and acorns and seeds under the leaves and the logs. It is getting ready for winter and for the big snow. I hope you enjoyed the book. The Big Snow. Alright, Karina, baby, let's sing a song. How about we sing Bocker Toe, good morning. We sing Bocker Toe, we thank you for this life. We say Bocker Toe each morning. This way we know it will be alright. Everything will eventually be alright, baby. I promise you. Okay? In a couple weeks, I'll hopefully get to see you. I can't wait. I can't wait to hold you and hug you. I can't wait to see you. I miss you. I miss you with everything that I am. I just miss you. And I love you. I really, really love you. I will always love you because you're my baby. You know? You're my baby. And I do. I love you. How about... Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. How about... Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was open, the birds began to sing. Now isn't that a dainty dish to set before the king? The king was in his counting house, counting out his money. The queen was in the parlor, eating bread and honey. The maid was in the garden, setting out the clothes, when down came a blackbird and pecked off her nose. Alright, how about Lila Tove, baby? Lila Tove, and good night to you. Lila Tove, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tove, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. I love you, and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you. I love you. I love you so much, and I miss you so much. Okay, I love you. My papa used to always say, Mama's his sun, Papa's my moon, and you're a rainbow baby. I love you so, so very, very much, and I miss you so, so very, very much. I love you. I love you so much, Karina. I love you, baby.